Alrighty guys, here we are, hole one. Throwing a little forehand zone at it. I'm going to get knocked down by that early tree, left a little bit too low. And then we're just going to pitch up our second shot here, take our par. We're doing voiceover today because the audio quality was super bad. The wind was kind of blistering and you guys couldn't really hear anything I was saying. So we're on hole two, taking an envy around the right side of this tree, letting it fight back left. The hole's about maybe 70 feet behind that tree in the fairway. And we're also going to try a little scepter here, coming around the left side of that tree. Let it fight back right. It was an okay shot. The forehand has been coming out a little bit wobbly lately, so don't expect too much. Envy's right here. Just going to pitch up a little jumper. It's probably like 60, 65 feet, maybe like half run-ish from this position, and then kind of tap in our par when we get up there. Yep, so tap in par on hole two. Hole three, nice straight shot. There's that little low ceiling, so I'm just throwing a buzz at it. With this hard pan ground, you can kind of get a lot of ground play, let it skip up there. And this one got some really good ground play, just a little tap in birdie. So we're negative for the round so far. Hole four, throwing a forehand through that gap on the left. And then I'm showing a couple different routes today too, so I wanted to try the Envy down the right hand side. This was kind of a practice round for a league round that I was playing later in the week. So taking that Envy, the Envy was actually probably the best shot of the three. I throw one more shot with the maiden, try a little turnover line, but I kind of duff it right into the ground right there. Just leave it way too low. Don't get enough juice on it, unfortunately. But we come up and we play the forehand play with that scepter. We've got kind of like a little lean out knee, putt from a knee. These are kind of tough. I feel like I don't get very much spin on the disc from this position when I'm putting. So I leave that one way wide right, trying to spin it too much, and of course player B taps in the second one. We're on to hole five. This one's in the A position, so it's up in that island on the left-hand side. I just throw my maiden kind of down the middle. I left it a little bit too left, but we do get a little bit lucky, and it stays in bounds because anything up above that concrete there that's not in those kind of posts is safe. And here is where my luck starts to turn sour. The putter kind of stands up on edge, rolls down the hill. Fortunately on this hole, if you don't land it super flat, that's kind of what happens. You get those nasty rollaways. And I just throw a couple more frustrated shots after that first one kind of takes a roll away. But we're taking it from that first lie, little jumper, just kind of get it up there and get in for our bogey, unfortunately. A little treacherous green, super slippery, tap in for bogey. All right, hole six. Back to even par. It's just a little forehand shot with the scepter. It's right behind that big tree. I don't know if you guys can see it, the super tall one. Pins right around there. I landed a little bit short, so I'm trying to turbo putt to get us out of this gap here because there really wasn't much of anything. It hits like the last available tree, but we still have like a 20-footer for par. And we managed to get that in. Hole seven, mandatory left of that big tree there. I'm just throwing a little forehand with the zone. I think I threw this one just a little bit long on this hole. Yeah. So we got about a, 25-footer for birdie. And we leave it just a little bit right. And the second one just a little bit high. We'll go ahead and tap in our par here. Ooh, almost wanted to spit out on us there. All right, hole 8. This one is over to the right. There's a small gap in between those trees that we're kind of aiming for. You can either kind of throw a straight putter shot like I just threw there, or there's kind of a big forehand gap if you push it a little bit further straight and get it to the right. We have like a 25, maybe 30 footer close to circle's edge for birdie here. I'll leave that one way low. Put the nose down so far on that first putt. And just a couple more practice ones. I think that third one was just a frustrated putt. And this one I'm just being weird, tapping in my par. This round seemed to be plagued by just missing birdie putts, not getting myself in good positions, and just tapping in those pars. So we go on to hole 9. This one's a little bit of a strange position. So we're down kind of in that valley there, and the hole is up and to the left. I threw a couple shots at it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. The forehand was not great. I threw that zone there, but there was an NV that I threw that kind of got out the gap, got down the fairway a little bit, but definitely not a look for birdie. So I'm just pitching up, trying to get my par. Little zone shot. And then I throw the NV as well, just a couple pitch ups. And we'll tap in our par here. All right, on to hole 10. This one's a pretty short hole, like 218 or so. It's right, literally straight in line with the basket, but you're kind of being blocked by trees all the way down the middle. So you kind of either have to throw that forehand like I just did, high and around the left side, or you can throw this backhand high and around the right. So just trying to give yourself an opportunity, missing all those trees in the middle of the fairway. Came up a little bit short. This is probably a little bit outside of the circle. This was from that zone forehand shot that I threw first. So we're just kind of pitch up for par. There's pretty steep drop off back behind that basket. Tap in our par there. And then moving on. All right, we're on hole 11. This one's in the B position, so it's off to the right-hand side. So we're throwing a forehand. Came out a little bit early, left a little bit too high. And then we wanted to try one more shot with our zone. I don't know what I was thinking here. I definitely can't get it there with the zone, I don't think, but I guess I was feeling myself or something. So I threw the zone out to the same area. Scepter was probably like 40 or 50 feet longer than that zone. I have a little bit of a look. It's kind of obstructed by that little bush to the right there. With those little tiny branches. Yeah, I try and put a little ante on it, but those maidens, when you're putting with them, they're kind of overstable. So when you put a little ante on them, they really want to fight out of it pretty quickly. I think here I was just talking about how blistering the wind was starting to get. In the afternoons at this course, it can get really, really windy. So you kind of have to play for that. Hole 12, kind of just a standard hyzer shot. Throw the zone. Maybe left it a touch low, but I think we get a little bit of ground action. Get ourselves up for like a 20-25 footer. Putt wasn't feeling great. At this point, I was feeling a little bit timid to run things. Put that one a little bit right. Put that one right and low. I think the disc was just coming out of my hand a little bit early. I've noticed that a lot lately, is I kind of want to try and push the disc out too soon. And I leave it right on the right-hand side there. Hole 13, we're in the long position. I take a Thunderbird. I don't put this as flat as I want it to. I put a little bit too much hyzer. This is about 375 uphill. The basket's over there on the left-hand side. I throw an Emperor as well, just because I thought that Thunderbird wasn't very good, and I was right. The Thunderbird was about 50 short, which we see here. So I have a little jump put at it, but I think if I put that Thunderbird a little bit flatter, we would have had a much better shot. Because on that hole, you kind of have a tailwind helping you out, but if I put myself on a bunch of hyzer, really that disc wants to fight down to the ground. So get in here for par, just sneak it over the cage there. Hole 14, double Mando between those trees. Barely make it on the inside of that right-hand side. Again, here I think I put on a little bit too much hyzer. I threw a Halo Destroyer. If I put that flat, I think we get much more carry out of this shot. I'm throwing the Emperor as well just to see. I put that one on a little bit of high. I think that one is good on hyzer. I think that Halo Destroyer, I need to trust it. There's a little bit of headwind because we have that tailwind from hole 13. So this is where that Halo Destroyer landed. The Halo Emperor is across that hazard walk path, right kind of behind that tree. So it was actually a pretty good shot. And then the second putt, of course I make that one. The little stepper. All right, hole 15. We're not playing to that yellow basket. There's a white basket in that tree back behind it. So I'm just throwing a scepter, super wide hyzer. There's kind of some OB down to the right, so I just want to throw something overstable. I also try my PD. That overstable kind of like 9-speed slot is something I'm trying to work on dialing in the bag, but I've been really liking that scepter. I really like that PD as well. So this is where the scepter landed. This is probably 25-footer downhill. Just hit low on that cage. We'll tap in our par. All right, moving on to hole 16. Throw a little buzz shot. I leave that way left. We're going to that basket kind of right ahead to the right. That buzz is usually pretty understable, so I was kind of expecting it to turn a little bit, but I kind of just left it way too far left. It wasn't going to turn that much. So I was just throwing a maiden at it because this hole is probably like 3-something. Early release on that one too, again left. A little bit of frustration setting in with this very average round. So here outside the circle, probably 45 feet for birdie. Just tossing up, maybe giving it a soft run. Again, this green is also kind of touchy. If your disc kind of lands on edge, you can definitely roll away. Get some unfortunate bounces there. All right, and here, tapping in my par. All right, hole 17 in the long position. I'm throwing a Pyro. This is kind of a new addition to the bag. This is probably one of the first times that I threw it. It's a great disc, but it has way more glide than I was expecting. So I was expecting it to kind of dump out of the air, and it just kept carrying over that fence and OB. So this is where it went OB. So I'm taking my stroke here, left it low, and we just tap in the bogey here. Hole 18, we made it. This one's about 340. You kind of got to deal with a little bit of an uphill shot. It's an awkward angle to throw the disc from, so I just throw a Thunderbird. I think I leave it out a little bit too far right than I would like. And this is also another disc that I'm kind of trying to work into the bag. This is Honor, which is similar, but it is definitely a little bit more stable. So it got back a little bit quicker, and that one was a much better shot. But we're playing from our Thunderbird here. Uphill, we're just pitching up, taking our par, tapping out, and end our round. Thanks, guys.